Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Raleigh Board of Selectmen meeting for May the 12th, 2014. First on the order of business to call the meeting to order and remind everybody that this meeting is being audio and visually, digitally recorded. And next on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. And in the audience tonight is former Selectman Tom Moses and his wife Sue Moses. So could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tom and Sue, thank you. Chairman's comments. I have some, and I'm just brief. I want to thank everyone for the meeting last week. Participation from all you citizens out there. I want to thank you so much for coming to the meeting, and also I want to thank all the department heads. I want to thank the Board of Selectmen, all the fellas at the table here, and again, all the department heads, and all the hard work that went into that meeting. It went smoothly. There were very few ripples of all of you people who were there at the meeting and you witnessed it. And again, I want to thank the department heads, all the hard work, and the financial team and everyone else. Debbie, thank you so much for all the hard work you did putting everything together. Amy, Doreen, just all that hard work that you did, because that meeting would not have come off as smoothly as it did. And it all starts in this office, and thank you so much for your hard work. Thank you.
I'd also like to add
Yes.
the moderator also did an
Oh,
excellent job.
yes. Joan again. Joan Peterson did a wonderful job. Dave, go home and tell Joan we...
Conflict of interest.
Conflict. Joan, if you're listening.
I'll go delegate.
Okay. Well, thank you again, and we'll do it again next year. So, moving on, we have two appointments tonight. We have Raphael Reyes to discuss at 7:15, discuss a Class 2 dealer's license application. At 7:30, we have the acting highway surveyor and tree warden Ron Keefe to come in for performance evaluation. Just remind everybody, it is now 7:05. Between 7:05 and 7:15, we will have citizens query. So if anybody is in the audience and has any questions between 7:05 and 7:15, we will listen to any questions, and but we can't give any comments at that particular time. We'll take it under advisement and bring it back to next week. So that being said, it is now 7:05. I said in citizen query, and we'll go into the general business. Okay, we have a letter first. We have a letter from Cheryl Foster Cahill and Barry Cahill. So to the Raleigh Board of Selectmen and CCP Committee, thank you for the opportunity to discuss the options available to undergo the restoration of the Raleigh Jewel Mill. It certainly is a unique piece of history we hope to preserve and protect generations to come. After careful consideration, we have decided we will not be using the remainder of the CPC funds allotted in 2003 to me. We will begin the restoration this month, but it will be a privately financed by us. It would be most helpful if the Raleigh Highway Department could be assistance with the safety problem which exists in Bay Road in front of the Jewel Mill. Our goal is to complete this project by September, allowing us to participate in Raleigh 375th celebration. We do have a Jewel Mill model which we could mount on the float for the parade. We hear it is in the planning stages. Thank you for the ongoing support and patience as we work together with our goal in mind, preserving the story and historic landmark of the first full milling in the colonies. Sincerely, Cheryl Foster Cahill and Barry Cahill. We'll send a little letter off to them, acknowledge that we received this. Okay.
If I could comment, Mr. Chairman, we would,
Yes,
very much like to have the Jill Neal model in the parade on September 6th.
Okay.
It's part of our celebration. That'd be
Why don't we
great.
put that in the letter and ask them to participate in the 375th
Very
anniversary?
good.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Do we need a vote on that?
If the board would like to, as a formal request.
Joe, would you like to make the motion?
I'll make that motion to send a letter to the Cahills.
Second it.
Have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And now, we come to number 2. This is a pleasure to do. Okay, I would like to recognize Sue and Tom Moses for their many years of service to the town by issuing up a proclamation to each of them. Sue and Tom are moving out of town. Raleigh will be losing 2 dedicated residents who worked tirelessly for the betterment of this town. Sue served on the Open Space Committee and worked on the open space plan for the town. She also worked on preserving many key parcels for conservation and preservation purposes, such as Hunsley Hills and the Brad Street property. Tom served the town on the Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen. Despite holding a demanding job, Tom found time in his busy schedule to serve the town in many important positions. We appreciate all they have done for the town. They have made a lasting contribution to the town and will be greatly missed. I'll call for a motion for these 2 proclamations.
So I'll make that
Mr.
motion.
Chairman.
I have a motion.
Second.
Have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'd like to, well, why don't we sign these first? Well, we can sign them later, but I'll read Sue's first, ladies first, correct? We, the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Raleigh, Massachusetts, by virtue of the authority vested in us by the people of Raleigh as elected officials, do hereby proclaim Sue Moses, having faithfully served the town as a member of the Community Preservation, Open Space, and Brad Street Land Use Committee, and having volunteered countless hours assisting the town officials with land protection endeavors, we urge all citizens of the town of Raleigh, its community leaders, business, and government officials to recognize this achievement and service. In witness here, wherefore, we have hereby set our hands and seal of the town of Raleigh this 12th day of May, 2014.
It's been my pleasure, thank you very much.
Did a great job, Sue. You really did. A lot of hard work, a lot of hours you put in. Next. We, the Board of Selectmen, Town of Raleigh, Massachusetts, by virtue of authority vested in us and the people of Raleigh as elected officials, do hereby proclaim Tom Moses, having faithfully served the town in multiple capacities such as selectman, as a member of the Personnel Board, and as a member of the Finance Committee, the Board of Selectmen wishes to bestow its most sincere gratitude. We urge all citizens of the town of Raleigh, its community leaders, business, and government officials to recognize this achievement and service. In witness here, wherefore, we have hereby set our hands and seal the town of Raleigh this 12th day of May 2014. Tom, job well done.
It was sincerely my pleasure.
Now, I sat in the audience and I listened to you, when you were a selectman, and you had all your ducks in a row, and it was a pleasure to follow you onto the board, and a lot of things that you addressed. And it was a difficult time, but you did it. So thank you, and Sue, thank you again for all the work that you've done for the town. And with that, want to get some pictures? All these proclamations up. We have a camera?
Can you sign them first?
Oh, I'll sign them. Okay.
Yeah, we have a camera.
They're not official until we sign them, right?
Oh,
Sorry about that. You hand me a piece of paper, it's going that way. There we go. All right. Thank you, Jack. And take the signed here stickers off. Now it's official. Jack, thank you. This is good, that's a family picture. We just-
Okay, we can both be up there.
Sir, that's yours. Tom,
Thank you. Here you are. Mr. Chairman.
right there. Always take two, because somebody blinked. All set?
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you.
Sue,
Jack.
thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
good luck.
Thank you.
Tom.
Tom, pleasure serving with you. Good luck. And,
All the best for both of you, okay?
don't forget us.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you all.
Thanks, Sue. No, we're gonna get yours framed, okay?
Oh.
So much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, Deb.
Take care.
Good night, Sue. Good night, Tom.
Good luck.
Thank you again. Okay, we have about another minute left in citizen query. It's always a pleasure to do a proclamation. Two good people that serve the town, did a lot of hard work for us. Okay. Let's put this on hold. It's now. It's 7:15. Mr. Reyes? Raphael Reyes? Come right down to front, please. Mr. Reyes, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Okay, glad to have you in before us. You're applying for a Class 2 license?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about your plans, business?
Okay. I'm currently in Seabrook, New Hampshire, where I have a trucking company. And they're knocking down the buildings over there to make space for a mall.
Mhm.
So after looking and looking and looking, I couldn't find anything over there. So I had finally the luck to find something next to Gino's there. And after finding a big enough building, I'm gonna do truck repairs. I would like to have the license to have more versatility on if I find good opportunities and so for at least 5, 10 trucks, big trucks.
Okay.
Not really like little cars license. So is the building itself is in the back and it's all separate, and it won't be anything on Route 1 or anything. Everything will be in the back because most of the stuff is going to be internet sales or even stuff to ship back to South America and stuff. So it ain't going to be like a conventional, truck dealership, like a frontage or anything like that. And I would like to have your consideration in this. And
In 264, that is
That's Geno's. That's right.
Backside of Gino.
backside of
Yes.
Gino's?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And how many vehicles you going to have on the premise again?
Right now, I got 5 vehicles, and then I would like to have a license to have between 5 and 10, if possible.
We'll have to,
We actually, the application, just to clarify, Mr. Ray, says the number of cars that are limited, because on the dealer's license, it's got to have a limit.
just have a limit.
And you had put 50.
Well, that was just a number without knowing exactly. But after talking to Gino and stuff, he told me, well, you don't need that many because you know it just for futures.
Yeah.
I put that down, but if it could be between 5 and 10 for now, can it be increased after?
Well, this may be a grandfathered non-conforming site, so I'm not sure if there's any other issues with it, but it should be kept at what was previously there, which I'm not sure what was. But
What was it used for before?
Yes.
Gino owns the property, right?
Yes.
And does he use it as part of his business, or did he done something different back then?
Well, it's kind of separate right now from the front and from Gino itself because he's gonna be open up doors on the side, gonna go through Gino's and going in and out that way. So that's gonna be that's the plan because it's gonna be a big truck, so you need the swing and everything. So he have nothing to do with the front. Or Gino's property is on this side, so he have plenty of room here to go in and out that blue building.
Okay.
But
We
I'm
really
gonna
need
be-
to find out what, just Ron?
Chairman Snow, I think he may be talking about the vacant lot that he owns, which is behind, I believe it's Hamilton Used Cars on Route 1. There is a vacant
The
building
vacant lot to the
behind.
right there?
Yes.
If you're looking at Gino's, you have a used car lot
Gino's
right
in
to
the
your
front,
left.
Hamilton's on to the right of the building.
If you're looking at the front of
That
Gino's
correct?
to the left, and there's a vacant building in the
vacant
back that
in the
moves
back.
across the street to do automotive service, that is vacant.
Yes.
And it is big enough for what he's saying, not for 50 trucks, but
No.
for
Okay.
a good amount.
Do we,
yeah, well, Geno's already has a dealer's license.
right, okay, but we have to know how many vehicles.
Well, if that's up to the board to put on there. He had put, that's why I wanted to clarify. It says a 50 vehicle limit, and I think that's what he put on the application, but I think he's saying now, what, 5 to 10?
Yeah, exactly. That'll be enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
We want to make it a 10 vehicles. And that way, you won't be,
Yes, sir.
you're
Yeah.
saying 5 to 10. Let's go,
That'll
we'll
be
change
enough.
that to 10.
Can we actually modify his application, get him to initial it?
Yeah, that would be fine if you want to do it with the original.
Yeah.
Right, want to do that right there, Mr. Reyes?
Yep. Just cross it off and put
Just put it across
10.
and then put 10, then just put your initials beside it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. All right. You have to have a bond,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Reyes?
I'm getting that. I think that tomorrow is going to be finalized, and then I'll bring it in as soon as I get it.
Okay, so depending on the bond, we can,
Yes, soon we'll have the license ready. The selectmen will need to sign that this week.
so can I have
It's
a,
prepared now.
any questions from the board besides? Any questions? Okay, can I have a motion from the board with the,
I'll make that motion to.
with the bond?
Yes,
Okay,
to grant the a license with the proviso that we receive the bond.
The bond. Yes, sir.
okay.
Yep.
All right, I have a motion.
I'll second it.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and that'll be a stipulation, Mr. Reyes, with the, just bring the bond in tomorrow? and
Yes.
Go from there. All right?
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right.
All of it.
Best of luck, Mr. Reyes.
All right.
All right.
Yep. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
happy to have a new business in town.
Yes.
Thank you.
Looking forward to be of service to the town as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Reyes.
Thanks.
Thank you again.
Okay.
Good night now. All right, it is about 22 after the hour. We'll go back, we have an appointment at 7:30, so in the meantime, we'll go back to general business. Number 3. I hear there's a hockey game tonight. Anybody hear that?
Nah. That's just a rumor.
Just a rumor. So nobody tune out until the game starts, okay, at home. Okay, general business number 3, request from Richard Kent to transfer aquaculture lots 2 and 6 to Kelsey Gunstrom. Okay. I'll read the letter from Mr. Kent into the record. Honorable Board, it is with deep regret that I find myself no longer capable to perform the work required to maintain my aquaculture lots 2 and 6. I hereby request that you allow the transfer of my lots to Kelsey Gunstrom of 60 Railroad Avenue, Raleigh, Mass. Under the terms and conditions of Section 2 of the Shellfish leasing rules and regulations. Kelsey has worked with our aquaculture group for many years and has purchased and used commercial permits to harvest clams for open areas. Thank you in advance, Richard Kent. So, with that, everything seems to be in order. We need to read all the latitudes and everything else for the lots. We can just specify the lots, correct?
Yeah, I think the
Yeah,
lots
so
are
you
covered.
could just approve it as requested.
Okay. Have a motion from the board?
I'll make that work.
Good. Jack,
Okay, Jack. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to number 4, transfer of home funds to consortium pool.
Can I just ask one
Certainly.
question? We do have licenses that'll have to be,
Yeah, so we'll prepare, we have the
We have
dealer
prepared
license, so we have
licenses
to
and all
do, and the aquaculture license, so they'll be ready probably sometime tomorrow anyway.
oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, transfer of home funds to consortium pool. We have received a letter from the North Shore Home Consortium concerning uncommitted funds. The town has no projects that would conform to federal standards of these funds, so they will revert to the North Shore Home Consortium pool. The board should take a vote to send the letter to the North Shore Home Consortium, informing them that the board does not have plans to use these funds. Any questions from the boards?
I'll give that a motion, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion from the board. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 5, request from building inspector Ken Ward to transfer funds, chapter 4430, section 35B. Inspection department wages to inspection department expenses, transfer $1,500 from the line of 72 inspection wages to line 73 inspection wages. Do I have a motion from the,
I'll give it a motion, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion. Do I have a
Second.
second? I have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
We all have to sign. Good job. Thank you. Okay. Moving on. General business number 6. Tour de Cure, request to travel on Route 1A for annual bike race. This is the annual fundraising event for the American Diabetes Association. The police chief, the fire chief, and the highway surveyor have no concerns, issues with the race.
So, Mr. Mr. Chairman, they're just going down Route 1A.
Now Route
This
1A.
is a huge bike race.
Okay, and the ride for the four routes, 15, 30, 31, 62, and 100 miles, will begin at 7 a.m. and all riders must be off the road by 3 p.m. Where are they pulling out from?
Begins and ends at Topsail,
Begins and ends in Topsail. Okay.
right at the fairgrounds.
All right.
And it's a non-competitive stipend.
Everything seems to be in order, all but certificates of insurance.
Give you the motion, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion.
Second it.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on, that's all for general business. Moving on to new business and the PRS contract renewal. The IS committee is requesting that the Board of Selectmen, in accordance with the description of services in the request for price quotation for computer consulting services starting for period July 1, 2012, exercise the option to renew the contract for the computer services for PRS Group from the first incremental year 2 additional years as stated in the agreement between the Town of Raleigh and PRS Group dated May 29, 2012. This 1-year period would begin July 1, 2014.
I give you the motion, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion from the board. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion from the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. I'm gonna hold off on number 2, because we have about 30 seconds, and we'll come back to new business number 2. By the time I close the folder and put this to the side, it will be time for our 7:30 appointment. If I drag on long enough, I will. There we go, we're right there. Okay. Okay, our 7:30 appointment was acting surveyor and tree warden Ron Keefe for performance evaluation. Ron, we're doing your, you've requested your evaluation, okay? So, we will request an open session, so, okay. So, with that, we just go like we do yours, Deb, right? We go right down to the list, okay. And for job number 3, we'll start with, gentlemen. Everybody have a copy of the performance review? Okay, and you can see that's E is for excellent, G good, S satisfactory, F fair, and unsatisfactory. U. Okay, with that, we'll start with number 3, job knowledge. Employee possesses clear understanding of the responsibility and task of he and she must perform. Okay.
If I could start by commenting that I think Ron has done a wonderful job. He has followed in the footsteps of Scott, but he has been a leader in his own right. And I know that he's done an excellent job in the town. He's helped out at the with the tree work at the common, and as with the lights. The highway department has been very helpful around town, but they've done their job in mowing and keeping the streets clear during the wintertime, and they've done a fabulous job under his leadership.
Anybody up this side of the board?
I have to concur 100% with Joe.
Okay.
Ron's done a great job. There again, we knew that we were going to have to put somebody in that position, and it seems that the last 2 that we had to replace, we felt we could never get to that level of expertise, but it's happened a 3rd time.
Mhm.
So, I mean, Ron stepped right in, and just like he'd always been there, and took it over and did an excellent job, particularly with this winter's storms that we had. Were very challenging, and he got through them, and things are working out very well there.
Dave?
Yeah, he's worked, done a seamless transition from our previous highway surveyor, and he fit right in with what needed to be done. He's worked extremely well, to my knowledge anyway, with all the various department heads, and any requests that anybody's had for the assistance from the highway department has been cheerfully taken on and performed in a manner that's exemplary. And I just think for a person who stepped in to a difficult position after a very popular and well-versed highway surveyor, he's done an excellent job, and it's a shame that we can only keep him for the 1 year in that position, but he certainly deserves a good, excellent rating from us as far as I'm concerned.
Jack?
Totally agree. Ron's been available when we needed him at the cemetery to help us. Like Joe said, he's worked with all departments, and I take my hat to Ron for helping us over there when we needed him, helping us with graves and working together, that's what the town's about.
I have to concur with the board. You've done an outstanding job, really, under difficult circumstances, and, you know, and I thank you. You know, Ron, I don't know how many times I've talked to you during the week, but you've always kept me informed and kept the board informed of all the situations in town, and you've had to fill Scott's position on difficult circumstances, and again, I have to concur with the board. Excellent. So, with that, everybody concur that he did an excellent job? Job knowledge? Okay. Okay, job performance.
I'll take the lead on that one, if you will. Again, the thoroughness, everything that's worked so smoothly, watching everything go through, seeing the trucks on the road and the planning that goes with it, to maintain a smooth working team that you have put together on your department. I think you've done a wonderful job.
Anybody else on the board?
I mean, it's just,
I'll just concur.
exactly, I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, his knowledge was great and his performance is great. It goes hand in hand as far as I'm concerned.
So, excellent on that, gentlemen?
So, Mr. Chairman, you have the master, the rest of the board can just follow along.
Okay.
And if you're not able to write in some of the comments, you know, we're writing them down, we can
Okay.
fill them in after.
All right. Job productivity.
Well, again, I think Ron does a really excellent job. He is right there. He is not afraid to step up to the plate, and he filled Scott's shoes very well, and has again set his own tone for the year that he's been running the highway department, and he's the productivity has been shown on the again on the streets. He's just done a wonderful job.
I mean, it's basically the same, but he has really demonstrated a commitment to the department. And as far as the efficiency goes, it's just unbelievable. I mean, we had a really tough winter this year. I mentioned that once before here. And there was even a shortage on salt. And because of Ron knowing where to go and who to talk to and how to handle it, we had salt
Yes.
when some towns did not. And he kept us supplied, and he kept the streets as clear as possible. We all know that we had really low temperatures this year. Sometimes salt doesn't work much below 20 degrees, but yet he was able to keep it going and keep the streets open. And
Yeah, for productivity, I have to agree. I mean, when it came to the salt problem, you were right up front. You called me. You told me that how much salt you had on hand, and the conditions that you faced, and what's if a storm was 1-2 inches, or was 6 inches, or was 12 or something. You told me how much salt it would require, and you kept the board well informed. And because of that, the productivity was the streets were cleared. And I have to make another comment. Before, somebody called me about a grading on a street. It couldn't be done because the streets were frozen. 2 days after the call, Ron had the crew out there and was grading the road, and has maintained that and gone out, and guess that falls under productivity. And it's, you know, you were there on the spot. So with that, everybody agree? Excellent.
Excellent, yep.
Okay, dependability.
Again, yeah.
Ron, you really make it difficult for us. You understand that. You know, I mean, you'd love to say, he can't get 100% all the way down the line. Maybe he's not dependable. But I can't lie. I really can't lie. I mean, you're there before we need you. I mean, it's happened a number of times. It really has. I mean, it's just uncanny. It really is.
Appreciate it.
And it's nice to know that, you know, when a storm is coming and you're ready for it and you got your guys out and you've got it planned out so that the roads are attacked and the surfaces are maintained, and we can count on you and your team to be there. It's dependability. That's what it is.
Just a quick story. I was up at St. Mary's one morning about a year ago, and there was a big high snowbank, and I called Ron, the crossing guard there, Judith. She couldn't be seen, and I called Ron. Ron came right down and cleared that pile within 20 minutes, and so that she could be seen. You know, the crossing guard could be seen by the traffic. So that's dependability. Within 20 minutes, I think that's pretty darn good.
Right. And it means a lot to us.
Yes.
To know that, you know, we can count on you.
So everybody agree on excellent? Okay. Cooperation. That's a tough one.
Yeah, I think I just basically said it earlier, that he just cooperates with anybody and everybody, and citizens call in, he's out to meet the people and take their complaint and deal with it, and department heads and other town employees. It's been fantastic, so we appreciate it.
I think the thing that stands out in my mind with Ron and cooperation is he's pretty much taken the Council on Aging under his wing. And he keeps a close eye on them. And if they need anything down there, whether it be sand to sand the handicap ramp or whatever is needed, he's there to take care of it.
Yep.
He really is. I mean, it's uncanny. And he does the same thing for the town hall. If we need something, all it takes is a phone call, and he's right there with his men to make sure everything is taken care of.
Cooperation with the board is uncanny, really is. I mean, you're always there just before. It's almost like a Radar Riley and MASH. You know, before we ask, you have the question answered for us. Everybody agreed? Excellent.
Excellent.
Excellent. Okay. Okay. Initiative. That's
He
another
doesn't-
tough one.
Doesn't have any initiative. Ron, you're making it very difficult, young man. I'm sorry, but you're driving us crazy.
Everybody agree? Excellent.
Yes.
Absolutely excellent. I mean,
Excellent.
he has come up with some very interesting scenarios to make that department work. He's got, just in the past year, he's got an awful lot accomplished down there. He had an energy audit done on his lighting system. He's looking at changing the lighting to save energy for the town, save money for the operation of the building. He got the fire alarm system put in. He got the electrical service upgraded with a standby generator reserve that's there, all ready to go when we get enough funds to buy the generator. So I mean, it just, evidently he sits down there after hours. He doesn't go home. And he just thinks about these things, and he writes them all down, and then he goes and does them. It's got to be that way, because I don't understand how he can have so much time during the day, because he's doing all the things out on the road. So he either sits there and thinks about it, or he goes home and thinks about it, which is even worse. I mean, you really shouldn't do that at all. But
I'm gonna go with the latter one on that one.
And
Can ask my
Mr.
wife.
Chairman, also, because the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission was really looking for representation at the DPW directors meetings, I was so pleased that Ron stepped up to the plate and started attending the meetings where he was getting a lot of opportunity to find out more about assistance with the stormwater management, the National Pollution Discharge Elimination System, federal mandate that's coming down the pipeline very soon, and opportunities where we could get funding, and we're part of that pool of municipalities that are looking for some assistance through the MVPC grant. And also attending so many workshops and training on the requirements of this permit. It's overwhelming. So, you know, this will be coordinated through Brent, but the highway department's gonna have enormous responsibility on the implementation of this. And when we have to really start doing budgeting for the future on the systems that we're gonna be installing throughout the town to be in compliance. But he did step up to the plate and came forward and brought a lot of things to our attention, and has been a wonderful assistance to Brent. We just filed, as you know, the annual report with the Environmental Protection Agency, and a lot of that report relies on what activities the highway department has been doing to get into compliance, so we can avoid any issues with the EPA. So I wanted to make sure that the board, you know, recognize that fact. Without a consolidated DPW, you know, the highway department has an enormous responsibility under this federal permit.
Sure does.
It does. So overall, would rate Ron is excellent.
Excellent.
So with that,
Work safety.
I'd like to say, Ron has been so many meetings that I've had to attend, like looking at the light at Central Street and also at Route 1. We're out there, and hopefully that's going to move forward. But there is so many little things that, and I think everybody this past winter can appreciate the streets were cleared all the time, and we were out there salting and addressing these dangerous intersections with salt and plowing, and maintain the roads this past winter. And all this, you had to fill the shoes of Scott Levitt, which was very difficult, and I know it was very, very difficult for you personally because you work so closely with Scott. But Scott would be very proud of the way you conducted yourself this past year. So.
If I could comment just on that last section, we
Yes.
have one more section to work environment and safety. Hopefully, we made it a little bit more safe. You got rid of that truck that was had a few problems, and now you have a little bit newer equipment to work with. And you've done an excellent job on the promoting a safe and work environment.
One thing that most of us don't know is that when Ron was there, and even under Scott, the Rowley Highway Department had a driving team, and the State Highway Association offers a truck rodeo where they have to perform driving their trucks and going between traffic cones and doing all kinds of things. And I'm not sure how many times, Ron, but you've come in second almost every time, all the time you've been there.
Yes.
Has it been 3, 4, 5?
1 year we came in second and third. It's Essex County, and then Essex County goes and competes against the rest of the counties, and then they go to compete against New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont.
Wow.
Oh,
But we've always taken second. 1 year we took second and third, and it's not just cones. You literally have a state trooper there to do a pre-trip, a real physical pre-trip, and the state trooper actually physically tampers with a few things, and you don't know what they are, and you don't know to the end, but you have to find them.
So, I mean, from the work environment and safety issue, that's important. And
Outstanding,
it's
yes.
really outstanding, and you're right, absolutely right.
You just jinxed me. I'll probably get in a car accident on the way home. But
Don't do that, Ron. Don't even think it.
At least not the town truck.
I actually have my own car tonight.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to address here?
I think
So what's the score on the last?
The last
Excellent.
one was
Factor.
excellent too.
You tell me I actually matched that?
Yep.
Wow, I didn't think that was possible.
So the total score is
I believe it's 100 points.
If it was all excellent, then it's
all
100.
excellent.
Yeah.
So the overall rating is excellent.
Congratulations.
Pocket space this week.
Okay. Any other comments from
Our
the board?
administrator gets 110, you only got 100. Make it a swell head.
I would like to take the opportunity to thank not only you, the selectmen. I actually wrote a letter to the editor and it hasn't made it yet, but the people of Raleigh should be very proud. I mean, I called Deb about needing electrical work. I didn't know all 4 light bulbs in the office could blow simultaneously. They did. I thought it was something else. Bob Mary came down, co-chair of the board, vice chair, and you get up on a ladder and fix them. Bob Snow, chairman, you've always been there. Truly, next Marine, you always want perfection, and we do everything to give it to you. Dave
I
Peterson.
have to correct you, it's former.
Say something about the Army now, let's go.
No, got nothing for that one.
No.
No, my brother was in the Army. I'm not going to pick on them anyways. Dave Peterson. I only met him once or twice. And my second son that was born, didn't have to. He didn't know me from a hole in the wall. Sent a card, him and his wife, to my wife and I. You don't get that in any other town. Joe, I worked with you on the end of Stackyard. You were so concerned about the clamors and the livelihood. And Jack Cook, who plowed for us for back when they used to have horse and buggy.
48 years.
48. When Scott got sick, he was always down in the garage checking on us to make sure that we were okay. The fire chief, the police chief, the chaplain, Reverend Bob. He was a lifesaver for the first couple months. Debbie, I call her Mom sometimes now and then, even though we're probably about the same age. Brownie points.
No, I'm older.
I'm going to go for 9 out of 10. She's always there. I mean, you guys have talked about her so much on a Saturday being there. I've called her in some of the snowstorms. What are you still doing? You can't see 20 feet in front of the truck. I got a few more things to do. If you can't see 20 feet here, you ain't going to see down the end of the Ipswich. Get in your car and go home. She doesn't. Amy, I can't think of anything good to say, but we'll come back to her. No, actually, if it wasn't for Amy, now we talk about the possibility of $12 to $14 million for doing over Central, doing sidewalks, a lane to Central, and a bike lane. When we bring up 133 for getting in on the train station bill, I wouldn't have been able to do any of this without Pat and Jeff. So we always talk about me, and you know what? Yeah, sure, I got excellence, but I couldn't have done it without you guys, Debbie, Amy, Doreen, anyone here in Town Hall, or Brad Hill. But she called me and says, "Is there any roads you want to put on the train station bill?" I didn't know anything about it. I said, "Yeah, 133," and that's where we went. If it wasn't for Amy calling me, we would have never known. But 133, as far as I know, has not been removed. And I just got word today, actually after talking to you, that the $35,560 just slotted for potholes, which we have to have completed in final receipt in by June 30th, just got approved today. So one more bid, and that's it. Whoever the next highway surveyor can select that, and they really should do it this week. No stress, but you need it done before June 30th, or we lose the 30. It's all that $35,000 is slotted for from the state is pothole, which after talking to everyone, we will be putting on the west side of 133 as a temporary patch, and $35,000 does not go too far.
Yeah.
So I thank you and Pat and Jeff and the rest of the crew down there. So thank you.
Ron, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for, been a tough year, hard year for you. And you came through, and the whole time we appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
It's an honor.
Thanks for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thanks, Ron.
Yep.
Thank you.
Ron?
Thanks, Ron.
Safe ride home.
Good night, gentlemen.
Good
night.
Ron.
Thank you.
Okay. New business number 2. Here's my little marker here first. Okay, water treatment plant construction update. In response to the contractor's substantial completion letter, I scheduled a site inspection with the building inspector, Ken Ward, Fire Chief Broderick, John Sikora, Weston Sampson of Weston Sampson, John Hardgraves, Water Commissioner Stuart Dalzell, Treasurer Karen Summit, for Tuesday, May 13th, 10 a.m. We had hoped to meet with the contractor to go over a list of concerns from the building inspector, but were informed at 4:15 today that the contractor said he was busy tomorrow and will get back to us with a better time. We are very concerned about this, as the building inspector has the right to inspect any property that has an open building permit on it. And furthermore, once the contractor files for substantial completion, we must inspect the property to develop a punch list. My concern at this point is that unfortunately the building inspector was not shown any of the change orders presented for approval and approved relating to the construction of the physical plant. As the Board of Selectmen, is well aware, there were changes relating to the wiring and structural issues, including the gap between the ceiling and the wall. The building inspector should have reviewed any and all revisions to the plan, as this project was permitted through the state regulations pertaining to controlled construction. I am working closely with the town council on this matter and will continue to keep the selectmen informed and updated developments on this development.
Does that mean, Debbie,
That's
tomorrow's
from-
inspection is over? Is not being done? Or,
Yeah, we're in a very peculiar situation, whereby a letter of substantial completion was sent by the contractor to the engineer. And there's about a 21-day time period to respond to that. We have to get in there and inspect, to put together a punch list of things that need to be done. And I had set this meeting up on Thursday, found out at 4:15 today that he's too busy, the contractor, and it's not a good time for him, even though I pulled together this team. And
Did he give you any indication when?
I didn't communicate directly with him. I went through the Weston Sampson Clerk of the Works.
Mr.
And-
Sikora?
Yes, and he informed me that we wouldn't be able to get into the site. So I contend that the building inspector has every right to inspect a construction site that has an open permit. And I don't understand how if we're locked out of that, we have ways to get in through an administrative search warrant. And I'm just concerned that this is something that we're obligated to do, and we want to do it, and if the contractor doesn't want to be there, fine. The building inspector has every right to get in there. So, at this point, no, we won't be getting in the building. We don't have enough time to get a judge to issue this search warrant by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, because this happened so late in the afternoon. Similar to the email that I had shown the board at the last meeting, that had come on a Friday afternoon informing us that they were taking the water treatment plant offline, because there had been no response to the substantial completion letter. So we do have a number of items. I sent the board some things I got today from a company that the engineering firm had hired to go through to put together. I got that off to Ken Warden, the fire chief, today, so they could review that prior to tomorrow's inspection. We've had the building inspector just this past week and a half start to look at the change orders that he never saw. So the Board of Selectmen has been discussing these issues for months and drawing concerns over the nature of some of the change orders that relate to the physical plant, the building, not the water treatment equipment, but the building has come up from the selectmen time and time again, whether it was wiring or structural beams that weren't included. And so I've pursued that more or less now with the water board, since I've taken on the acting superintendent role. And I was the first person to contact the building inspector, I think, since the foundation was poured. So no one has contacted him. So he hadn't had in his possession, he wasn't aware of some of these change orders, that some were approved over a year ago. Under controlled construction, he should have received the revised plans anytime some of this came up. So, I've been concerned, but now that I'm into the project, devoting a lot of time to this, I've got the assistance of Karen Summit with me. We're trying to do this and do our jobs as well, and so I have taken the role of really actively pursuing this, looking out for the best interests of the town, and I had to get the town council involved, because I really think at this point, when you're dealing with issues of that we're experiencing now with the contractor, sending Weston and Sampson a letter of substantial completion that doesn't even mention the physical plant is a concern. And Weston and Sampson agreed that that was a concern, that this is not substantially complete.
Is there anything the Board of Selectmen can do?
I think at this point, we'll just continue to monitor it, as this project really is under the purview of the Water Board. So I am trying to work with them, keeping them informed of all these issues. There are a number of things that have to be done. And last week, I had the building inspector and the fire chief attend the Water Board meeting, so they could hear firsthand what I was told. Ms. Kenwood had spent the weekend reviewing the change orders that he got from Karen Summit,
Both
who
selectmen.
processes them because she has to file with the state revolving fund. That's why she has them.
Just for note, Selectman Peterson and myself attended the same meeting. Heard the presentation from at the board meeting. Any comments from the board?
No, I would just want to make sure that we document all of this, because at some point in time, either the 21 days is going to run out, and we haven't got done what we need to get accomplished because they are dragging their feet and giving us lousy notices, or the DEP will come down on the consent order and say, how come it's not finished as we agreed to? And I think we need to be able to document these particular issues and say, this is why, because we can't get the contractor to finish the job.
At this point, I don't have any great expectation that we'll be able to get the occupancy permit, either permit or temporary occupancy permit, because the list is substantial. And there have to be a number of safety measures installed into the building, the physical plant of the building, that have not been done.
To meet the code.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the gap in the wall and the ceiling is not merely a cosmetic change order that was initially presented. Certain sections of the wall have certain code issues. So walls that have separate different rooms within it, have one set of code, whether it be energy code, fire code, and things like that. So those are things that the fire chief and the building inspector brought to my attention, and explained to the Water Board last week.
Has Weston Sampson been in touch with the contractor?
Well, yeah, were told today at 4:15 that they were too busy and couldn't make wouldn't be available to let us in the building tomorrow. Which I find surprising, since they're the ones that said the project was substantially complete.
Mhm.
But that letter, if you do read it again and reread it, you'll see that it really pertains to the water treatment plant equipment, the unit that's in there. Now, that may be running fine, but the building that it's housed in
Right.
has a number of issues, and I would caution the Water Board, and hopefully the Board of Selectmen can weigh in on this, because it is such a huge project, to make sure that everything gets done correctly on that.
It has to get done correctly.
You don't want to see this kind of problems, and unfortunately, the building inspector hasn't, until 2 weeks ago, had no knowledge about some of these things that he should have been notified about.
I'm kind of disturbed that it came at 4:15 this afternoon. And
Exactly.
at the end of the day.
So what we're gonna do anyway is sit down and meet as a group and go over the issues that came in from the company that the Weston and Sampson had review on Friday. They went in and had a list of things. So we're gonna sit down tomorrow at 10, if anyone wants to stop by. with the building inspector and the fire chief and go over some of these issues. And think about when we're gonna schedule another meeting. The problem is the building inspector is so busy right now.
Yes.
He has a very busy building season, and the fire chief is busy as well. So now I have to figure out a time to get all these people back together, and it's just frustrating. And something so important like this that was initiated by the contractor.
Yeah. Anybody like to attend the meeting tomorrow?
Well, I think we want to make sure we don't have a quorum, but
Yeah, that's all I just want to ask.
I know it's the election, I don't know if that's an issue
Oh, that's
with
right,
any
too.
of the selectmen.
Election.
it's not with me because I'm on the ballot, so I'm
You're
not
not
working the
working.
polls.
So as long as one or two selectmen come by, and, I hope Commissioner
by,
Dalzell, he was,
Anybody else want to come by? Or
he was
just-
supposed to be
You can come
coming
by?
as well.
Okay, two of us will come by.
I think it's important just to, I mean, obviously, the way I see it at this point, this is gonna become an issue in court.
Yep.
I don't see any other, unless a miracle occurs, I don't see where else it's going, because it doesn't appear to be any cooperation from,
No.
or minimal amount of cooperation from the builder. There's obviously some structural issues we have with the change orders, building inspector, and trying to get this thing online and deal with DEP that, I just reading through the letter here from Judy Pickett, the town attorney, there's major legal issues that seem to be in need of interpretation apparently, because it sounds like the contractor doesn't interpret things the same way we do, so
Not-
just to
Apparently not. I
keep
mean,
her on top of it, and whatever assistance we need from her is, she's kind of free to run with it and do what she has to do to represent the town and the
Absolutely.
water department.
yeah.
All right, any more discussion? All right, let's move on to the next. Okay, request SBA to install 3 additional antennas to the existing pole located at 467 Havel Street. We have received a building permit application from SBA requesting a sign-off from the property owner, which is the Board of Selectmen. Since Sprint Tower was permitted through the planning board under section 8.7 of the zoning bylaws, Debbie has requested a memo from the planning department indicating whether or not the permit needs to be modified prior to the issuing of the building permit. Additionally, Debbie is requesting a memo from SBA describing what they intend to do. The board should hold off on this item until next week, so we will hold off until next week. Number 4, request from SBA to refund balance of annual cell tower payment. Request from SBA, remove the monopole from Prospect Hill. They have requested a refund of their annual rental payment. Debbie is looking into this and requesting the board take no action on this matter at this time. Okay. Moving on to number 5. Discuss the Independence Day celebration on the town common. The board needs to start making preparation for the annual Independence Day Children Parade races on the common. Traditionally, this event was held on Saturday prior to July 4th, which would slot this event on Saturday, June 30th. July 4th is on a Friday this year, so we would do it the Saturday before. The board needs to set the date and start planning, coordinating recreation committee. So, this is kind of important because a lot of people show up for this, and we can do this the Saturday before. Kind of what we do before, we have a hot dogs machine lined up, all the tables and chairs. I mean, we're pretty much pros at this now.
I
aren't
would
we?
say so.
Get Richie Slush sound good?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get some couple of. How many buckets did we get last time?
I did 4 last year.
4 or 5? 4 or 5. Okay.
Do we have to do it on a Saturday before?
Yeah, I would think we'd have to do Saturday before, because a lot of people go away, and they'll go away.
And it's a
that
long
night.
weekend.
It's a
for
long
July
weekend, you
4th.
start Friday, people are gonna be pulling out of town, I don't know.
I think what happened was, when we were holding it, there wasn't a lot of people because they had said I would come, but I go away for vacation or I have a summer home, and so the board tried to do it the Saturday before and, get get into the spirit of the holiday.
And we don't call it the 4th of July celebration, we call it Independence Day, because we don't hold it on the 4th.
Right.
Okay, so we'll do it the Saturday before, and I think that's the best time to do it. So, anything else we wanna plan for this year?
Just make sure that Mr. Southall is available to run the games.
That's right,
Yes.
yes, that's
Yeah.
very
He's the key to
important.
the whole,
I'll be
Yeah.
there scooping slush.
the whole thing.
Scooping, yeah, I'll be scooping slush, taking pictures, and what else?
And you had the music, you had it on your iPad?
Oh, I have the music, I have the
iPod or your iPad?
Yeah, I
It
got
worked
right now.
fine. It was simpler and it was easy. It was a lot of music and the kids loved it, I think.
So we'll kinda do the same thing we did before.
Follow the same format if that's
And
what
if
you want.
anybody come up with anything else that we need to,
I'll get in touch with Tim if you put that date down as the
we
day.
need a couple of tents, and we usually
The
go.
canopy,
canopy
the Council on
tents.
Aging helps out.
Council on
Mary
Aging
Ellen
helps out.
is terrific with supporting us, and so we've had.
We start to put some solicitations in for hot dogs, Jack. Okay, and some rolls, and some condiments to go along with that, and what else?
Water.
Water, we need water, okay, we'll need some water. And
Prizes for the races.
we need a lot of people at home with good appetites to come down at 9 o'clock in the morning, start having hot dogs, water, and slush, okay?
Very good.
Can you check that date for me?
I'm
June
sorry,
30th is not a
29th,
Saturday.
The 29th.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry, it's Saturday, June 29th.
28th, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
28th, it's the 28th.
I know,
Joe,
that's my
good.
first band
All right.
concert.
Wait a minute. Yes,
That's Concerts on the Common, opening for the Raleigh 375 is
Okay.
that night.
Okay, I'm
Well,
sorry.
That should work good then.
Yeah.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong calendar.
Yeah, the
So
28th.
it'll be the 28th, right?
All
Yep.
right.
And July 4th is on a Friday.
All right, I want you guys to think about this, for the next couple of weeks. And
Okay,
come up
Saturday,
with anything
June-
else that we need to do.
Saturday, June 28th.
So that evening you have a concert, so it can be a kind of a day of festivities for the
Right.
town.
Right.
Sounds good?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I introduced our first concert on the Common.
With our new trees and our new lights. Okay, sound good?
Glad I remembered.
Okay, number 6, discuss rededication of the Civil War Memorial during the Memorial Day celebration. Okay, we're gonna have a rededication of the memorial, right, Bob?
We're going to
You
try to
informed
do
me.
that, yes.
Okay.
Actually, what I have here is the original order of exercises for the December 12th, 1914. So this year would be the 100th anniversary
Oh, wow.
of the dedication of the
Back when you were a
Civil
kid.
War statue.
I was here for it.
And that's the
Wow.
statue on the
I'm
Common.
gonna hold that up and see if we can get in there. There's the statue. With the flag over it. Nate, I don't know if you can get the, zoom in on that. Okay, well,
Well, anyway,
Anyways.
we can look at them ourselves here.
okay.
Here's the unveiling,
Oh, wow.
and here's the crowd.
Oh, wow.
How many veterans were there, do we know?
There's over 100 on the monument itself.
Wow.
That information is available.
Wow.
And I'm reading on here that the address was by Richard R. Foster Esquire of Chelsea. He was the commandant of the Soldiers' Home, and that's the reason the Soldiers' Home was built in Chelsea, was for the Civil War veterans.
Yeah.
And he was formerly a sergeant of Company C, 19th Massachusetts Infantry,
A lot of the Raleigh boys were 19th Infantry.
on quota of Raleigh.
Yeah,
He was, okay,
yeah. He was under Raleigh's quota.
okay.
So I think what we need to probably do is maybe make contact with the VFW. Generally, they end their services over on the Common.
Mhm.
So I think we need to just maybe put a slot of time together right at the very end there to do that. don't know exactly what we're gonna do for a presentation.
Mhm.
Hopefully it won't be too long. I'm gonna try to put something together as part of it. And I don't know if we can find a dignitary to maybe,
Yeah,
it's an awful long, tight time frame at this point, but,
It is.
yeah, and we've, as many of you know, we lost Terry Hart, last week,
right.
and who was a hero in his own right. I know many people don't realize that, but Terry saved people's lives in a Coast Guard incident off the coast. So, and as a matter of fact, I just found out that Terry will be buried in Arlington National Cemetery.
Yes.
Wow,
So,
wow, that's great.
and rightfully so.
Yep.
You know. So, yeah, this is.
It might be appropriate, Mr. Chairman, if you've got a copy of the original address by that, at the time that the monument was dedicated to.
Yes.
If
Actually-
not give the whole address, we could make an issue of, make some comments from today, but
Yeah.
kind of go back in time and,
There is some comments from another fellow that was there. It was Mr. White. Honorable Alden P. White of Salem. We do have his presentation.
maybe take a look at it, see if they might be appropriate to, and then just up to date it with some,
Well, I think it
Additional
is
comments
in
from
that
today.
it talks about the people on the monument. It talks about the residents, the Raleigh residents that actually were the first 7 to go in and to the service at the beginning of the Civil War. As far as Mr. Foster's address, I have not been able to find that.
okay. Well, just something to bring us back to that time,
Mhm.
and then kind of update it with
And I
some
was
brief
thinking that maybe
remarks
we
from
could get
today.
the school involved, the Pine Grove School involved, and have them sing maybe a song or two, or even the Triton Band could give us a closing, America the Beautiful, or something like that. I don't know if we want to carry it on too long. It's going to be a kind of a long day anyway.
And at this particular time in history, it was the Grand Army of the Republic,
Yeah.
like the VFWs of our day, where the Grand Army of the Republic of Ipswich partook in the festivities.
Exactly.
And it was a very different world. I mean, we were only 3 months into the World War I at the particular time. We weren't involved. We were off,
Yep.
thinking that was Europe's war, and we were thinking of this. This was the war of the time for the nation. We had just come out of the Spanish-American War, and we did have troops overseas in different places,
Right.
mainly the Philippines. But this was a big deal back then in 19.
Yes, it was. It was a big deal. It really was. So we'll see if we can put something together
Yes.
and try to get that squared away.
Any suggestions from the board? I think it's in good hands with us as town historian.
Yeah, like you say, I think we just need to make it as brief, complete but brief, so that.
I think we need to-
Usually by the end of the time out there, after all the walking to the cemeteries.
It
and all
depends on the
rest of
weather
it.
too. It
Yeah.
might be a warm day or so. I mean, I would like to keep it kind of brief, but I think we need to bring it to their attention.
Yes, no,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
No,
I
definitely.
mean, I want to do that. So,
It's important to remember our history, and that's an
Absolutely.
important day to do it.
yes, yeah,
And Memorial Day was founded all because of the Civil War.
yeah.
That's the reason that we go out there, because in that war, we lost more men than any other war. I mean, the casualties was 600,000 to 700,000.
Yeah.
So it was a
And, you know, there
bloody
were actually more soldiers that died from disease and being imprisoned than were actually killed on the battlefields, which is, it's just unbelievable. I mean, to me, it's amazing.
And it wasn't, I mean, it was just a terrible war. I mean, anybody have seen Ken Burns' Civil War and sat through that, and just,
And it's interesting
Awful.
when Mr. White, when he gives his presentation, they were just gonna go out, take care of it, and come back. You know, they would, at the end of the year, they'd be back. And we all know that didn't happen,
Yeah, yeah.
so.
all right. Well, that sounds.
Okay, so we'll get started on that.
All right.
We'll continue on that, I guess, because we've already started, but we'll continue with that and see what we put together.
A very different world back then,
Yes.
100 years ago. All right. Old business number one, discuss Gerzak Lane. Now that town meeting has accepted Gerzak Lane, does the board wish to vote to request the light department to turn on the lights? Debbie is finalizing the deed language, etc., with the town council and the engineer.
I'll give you the motion to turn on the light.
I'll second that.
Have a second. I have a second. Any discussion from the board? All those in favor of turning on the lights?
All right.
Aye. The lights are on.
Aye.
Okay. 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 The minutes for April the 7th, 2014. Everybody read them?
Yes.
Yep.
I do have one, depending on which one you go for first.
Okay. This will be the
24 of the April 7th.
April 7th.
Okay. Page 7.
Correction? Correction, page 7.
Page 7, second paragraph, next to the last sentence.
Okay.
It starts out with Meridian will meet with the project, and then there's a 2 stuck in there,
Okay.
team. That's, I realize it's only a typo, but
Okay.
We'll fix that, yeah.
Fix that. All right. Anything else? Okay. Entertain a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. May the 5th, 2014.
one is fine as far as I'm concerned.
Fine. Do I have a motion?
Make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain.
One abstention. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. I'm going to give that to you to read. Okay. Okay. Starting to some announcements. The town has the following vacancies: the Council on Aging, 1 seat; Conservation Commission, 1 seat; Finance Committee, 1 seat; Fence Viewer, 2 positions; Wood Lumber Bark Inspector, and Zoning Board of Appeals, 2 open seats. For more information on these positions, please contact the Board of Selectmen, 948-2372. 375th anniversary information.
Again, I would urge people to check out the Town of Raleigh website and the Raleigh 375 information. And we have confirmed that we will have bands through the summer. And we'll have a lot of good music on the town common, and we should have a lot of fun, and we'll have the parade on September 6th, and closing ceremonies on September 7th.
Sounds good.
Should be a lot of fun.
Yes, it should be. Okay, the battery recycling box is located in the town hall and in the library. This is a good way of being green. Get those batteries, throw them in a little plastic bag, okay, and then drop them off here at the town hall or over the public library. Again, don't want to throw those in the landfills, okay? And I talked to Frank, and Frank's telling me that the box is always full, so keep up the good work, everyone. Okay, Raleigh Food Pantry has needed donations. The Raleigh Food Pantry is open Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and Thursdays from 5:30 to 7 p.m. Water customers need to call Penachuk at 1-800-553-5191. Now for billing, payments, and customer service questions. Again, that number is 1-800-553-5191.
Could I offer a comment on?
Certainly.
I got my bill, so I'd like to make a comment. So, just so that people can understand.
It's not a complaint. If
They
it's a
might,
complaint, you have to
they
call the
might
1-800 number.
see an increase in the bill for this month, and I was wondering what happened. And I went through, I like to check the math, being a former math teacher, and we had an extra full week of water on this month's bill as opposed to last month, so it should be 25% higher.
Thank you.
So if you see an increase, that is
That
probably
explain,
what
I don't have
happened.
to call now, because you explained why my bill is higher. Okay, good,
The bill still is a little confusing too.
Yes, it
a
is.
little bit.
I mean, they straightened it out, but it's not real.
They are showing the discount,
Yeah,
and
they're
they are
the
showing
discount, but
the
then
bottom
when-
line.
Then on your bill, but on your little slip, now I'm paying mine through the automatic withdrawal.
Right.
And it says on there, if you do automatic withdrawal, they'll take off the correct amount. But on your little pay stub, if you're gonna write a check and send it in, it's giving you the number without the discount. And I suppose that's part of the problem, is the fact that you got a discount or not a discount. So I'm not sure how we can correct that, but it still is a little confusing.
It is.
Yeah,
Joe, I
it
have
should
to-
make a difference
It is.
once they go to after July 1st, they go to the end of the month. You know, you get the full month for the discount. I think maybe they can make it a little bit more clearer at that time, because right now it's hard to say 10 days to give a date. If you pay before, after so-and-so, it's this price, or if you pay before.
Yep,
But
I agree
anyway,
with you, Dave.
But Joe, thank you for explaining I'll have to call Penachek tomorrow because of you, okay?
The
All right.
water, the water board's talking about moving that date. I don't think the selectmen, some of you were in some of their
Yeah,
meetings.
as of the new fiscal year,
Yeah.
the discount rate is gonna apply, instead of being 10 days like it is now, it's gonna
Right.
be until the end of the month.
End of the
Good.
month.
Like, it's
Just like the light
exactly like
department.
like the light department,
Right,
which will make it a lot easier.
yes, it will.
I would encourage people to use the automatic payment method, you know, if you can. Just simplifies everything, and just check your bill to make sure it's accurate, but beyond that, it gets paid.
Automatically.
I thought I was signed up. I didn't have any indication of my bill.
Yeah, my bill, it says no, do not, on my bill, it said do not pay.
Oh, that, okay,
In
so I'm
the-
not
in that
signed up.
area.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, compact fluorescent light bulbs may be recycled at the Raleigh Light Department. Bulbs can be brought down during normal business hours. Again, we're not talking about the long tubes, we're talking about the small CFL bulbs, and just put them in a plastic bag, drop them off at the Raleigh Municipal Light.
You know, just as an aside on that, I put those in a number of years ago. In fact, I got a bunch of them at the time from the light department. I have yet to have any of them burn out. I've been
Well, you
very,
got a good batch.
I've been very fortunate that, you know,
Yeah,
I got them in most all my lamps in the house, so.
You know, if you want to make that change over to LEDs and you get one of those bulbs, instead of disposing of it in a landfill, you don't want to do that. You want to put it in a little plastic bag, drop it off to the light department, they can dispose of it for you. White goods and light goods household recycling is this Saturday, May 17th, between 8:30 and 11:30 at the Raleigh Highway Department. So if you have an old TV set, you want to get rid of it, put it in a car and bring it down and drop it off. And,
My turn?
yeah, your turn.
Okay. Upcoming Raleigh Reads events. A book discussion. Read the book, The Orchard, a memoir by Adele Crockett Robertson, and join us in a friendly setting to share your thoughts. Local author Holly Robinson will lead the discussion, to be held at the Raleigh Public Library Community Room on May 14th at 7 p.m. Meet your neighbors over a great book. This memoir, written by an Ipswich native, describes her struggle to save the family apple orchard nearly single-handedly during the depths of the Great Depression. While plagued by loneliness, debt, broken machinery, and the New England weather, she also experiences unexpected rewards along the way. Also, there's a jazz brunch at the Raleigh Public Library. Enjoy the ambience of an earlier era with live jazz from the Keith O'Jerry Trio as we celebrate the first Raleigh Reads. Brunch fare will be served in the library community room on Sunday, May 18th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay, thank you, Joe. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I have a second. I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Now you can all tune over to the hockey game. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. Good night now.